freshman year of college. I had my boyfriend, and I had just started to become active, and he wanted to. Can we just talk? Okay. So he wanted to add in some oral activity to our repertoire.
He wanted you to sing on the mic.
Yes.
Yeah,
He can sing on it. Yes. He didn't want me to sing. No, he did. But I wasn't comfortable, and I didn't know why. And I started getting flashes. A flash of this, a flash of that, a flash of this. And then one night, it all came back. And I remember having been molested and forced to perform on a cousin named Michael. And that was the beginning, really. And you would think that all the crying and all the not liking myself and all the getting caught up in situations where you don't want to be but don't know how to say no or get away. You have no idea where it really comes from. And so I remember that in detail. And I remember it freshman year. And then by sophomore year, I was really leaving. So, and it was 4 years after that.
When it initially happened, it's like, sounds like you blocked it out.
It's exactly what happened.
And like,
so,
I'm not going to think about it to the point of you didn't remember it until a situation presented itself again.
Exactly. And so now I know that when I was young, and it took me a very long time to find out how old I was when this happened. But I was 5, and Michael was 15. He's 10 years older. I used to go to visit Ben every summer. His sister was one of my close cousins, pretty close, fairly close in age. And so, I would go there in summers, either there or down south, And apparently, one summer, and the only reason that I know how old I was is because everyone pieced together that one summer that after that I refused to go back. No, don't want to go. No. No one knew why. So one summer, so I suppose every day for about 3 months, he would take me down to the basement, to the bathroom in the basement, and we would do that. And so, I will say this because it's meaningful. The last time that it happened, he urinated in my mouth. I'm a child, so I thought it was and I choked, nearly choked to death, and I'm just choking, And after that, I just would not do it. I refused because I felt like I was dying. So he peed in my mouth, and so that was the last time it happened. And I really don't remember anything else. I can tell you in vivid detail what the carpeted stairs looked like, that there was a bar, and there was a bathroom behind the bar, then there was a laundry room in the back. So, apparently, I went back home, didn't tell anyone, because he threatened me. If he told anyone, he would tell me. Yeah, he threatened me. I was so young, that he threatened me with something so silly. He used to smoke cigarettes. I guess secretly because he was 15. And he actually said, if you tell anyone, I'm going to tell your mother I caught you smoking my cigarettes. And I was 15-year-old. And I was young enough that was enough to frighten me into not telling And at first, when I first recalled this, I was thinking I must have been like 8 or 7. No, I was 5 years old.
And you carried that by yourself
I carried it.
for years.
Well, I refused to carry it
Okay.
for years. And then when it came on me at 17, the entire weight of all those years of not carrying it weighed so heavily that it was tearing me apart, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand what I was being crushed under. But it's the weight of not carrying it for 12 years. 12 years worth of weight all came down. And so I hated life and did not know why. I thought it was because of what I saw in the mirror. And it was so far from
Everything was about you.
me. Yeah. And so apparently I went to a friend's house for a sleepover and told her. She told her mother. And her mother called her.
Now, how old were you at this time?
I was still little.
Okay.
I must have told her very shortly after it happened.
Okay.
And mother called my mom on the phone. Do you have a nephew named Michael? Do you know what he did to your daughter? And they tried to call me to the phone. I wouldn't come to the phone. And when I came to the phone, I wouldn't speak. So I don't know, but when my mother did get me home to talk to me about it, I refused to talk about it. I wouldn't say a word. I guess I thought I was just telling a friend the story.
Right. You're just like
Telling a friend the story.
girls talk, and that's it.
Right.
And now it's snowballing,
Right.
and you're not ready.
I wasn't ready. That's so profound.
You wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. So, and my mother, bless her heart, she, I wouldn't talk about it, and I wouldn't repeat it. I wouldn't tell her what happened. And so she just prayed that I would forget. And I did. She did confront her sister. Apparently, the version I hear is that she called his name to the phone. She said, "Did you do such and such when you messing around with?" Why did I do that? Why that accent? Why?
It's coming back. That's how it happened.
But when you mess around, you do something nasty. You messing with breathe. Oh no, Mom, that's nasty. I wouldn't do nothing like that. She made that up. No, Mom. And that was the end of it for my aunt.
That's the end of it for a lot of people. That's where it stops. And we have got to pay attention. And I won't even say that the parents are not paying attention. The creep isn't always the creep outside. The creep is in the house we're in. The creep is in our family.
Yes.
And there's too many 5-year-old Bridgettes that are experiencing things that, one, they're not ready for. And then when it's introduced to them, they're not ready to like, now what do I do with this information? And then pay attention and stop leaving your children with just anybody. And when you do, if you have to, check in. Let your child be comfortable enough to speak to them at least every night. Speak to them that when your child is speaking to you, you can kind of know something that just isn't right. Do a check-in. And these are conversations back then we didn't have. That now, a conversation you may not want to have with a 5-year-old, you have that conversation. Let me tell you something. I don't care what anybody threatens you with. No matter what, I'm always going to have your back. I always will have your back. Anybody touches you, you know, the child's still going to be scared, but they have to know there's somebody they trust. Because now something happened that doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
But I remember Mom saying, no matter what, she's got my back.
Yeah.
And I keep pausing because I want to say, young ladies, stop having these Insta boyfriends that you think are these babies' daddies that you're leaving them with to babysit. But I can't say that because it's family too. It's not just a stranger. I want you to continue, but I had to just.
We need help, but not all help is good.
And it's set up in a way that you gotta work and you're a single mom. Or you gotta work and mom and dad are working. And it's summer and I may not necessarily have it to send you to camp. So I send you to family. Where, oh, I'm grateful my family's helping out.
Or helping yourself.
One of the rules I used to always have for my kids growing up, and it's weird, it's like you say, can we talk? Can my daughter spend the night? Is there a dick in that house older than her? I don't know. No. When I met my now husband, and my son was 5 years old, and I'm not judging you. I'm not saying you would, but my job ain't to protect your feelings. My job is to protect my son. Do not pick him up. Do not sit him on your lap. Do not hug him. You can say hi. And if any male is offended by that, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to protect him. And I constantly have a conversation with him. My daughter, don't sit on anybody's lap. Do not. Someone's hugging you and you feel uncomfortable. Like a lot of times people go to hug my kid. I'm like, he's not a hugger. My son hated hugging people. He's like, he would hug you in a way where he's like, and I'm, oh, why this person don't want to hug him? Like, he doesn't want, don't force it. That's just, you know, and it's easy to brush off just saying, he's not a hugger.
That's a very good way to handle that because, and I'm very careful to, a lot of times, I invite children to hug me, but I don't go in for one. And the other day, I was introduced to little boys, and said, his father said, oh, well, no, I wasn't introduced. I had been around him a few times. And so it was a situation where we were saying goodbye. And he was like, oh, give him a hug. And I said, oh, he doesn't have to hug me. It's okay. Give me this one. You know? The thing about that I want to make sure I add as well is when you tell your children to do something physical with someone, just hug them or give them a kiss or let them give you a kiss. So when you force your children or you condition your children to forcefully do physical things with people that they don't want to do, that is conditioning them. And so I would add, don't force your children to hug people. Because the next time an older person or a family member or someone says, come give me a hug, even if they don't want to, they may feel forced to do it. And it's just a matter of conditioning. And I think that's something that we're learning now as a society. But I would never tell a child, oh, come on, give me a hug. Or I cringed almost when he told his son, give her a hug. What are you afraid of? You know her.
Don't.
No, he certainly does not have to embrace anyone that he doesn't know or feel comfortable with.
Right.
We shouldn't have.
You, and it's something we have to learn because it's from generations. As you grow, things change, and the more you learn, you know better, you do better, right?
Yeah.
And I add to that, I have a daughter, and she has friends. She can't have a sleepover. Or what I will do is I'll rent a hotel. And I get like hotel suites, and I stay there with the girls. That's my way of protecting my family and making sure those families at home could feel safe. Oh, my daughter said that I'm always having company. Can she come? I've had a parent let her daughter, she's never been to my house, barely knew me, and was willing. You don't know if I got a cat, a dog, how many men living in here, who drinks, who's doing drugs. You don't know what goes on in my house. And they are very willing to be trusting to let their kids just stay anywhere.
I look at that and I say that how fortunate that person is that tragedy has not struck them. Too unfortunate.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
How fortunate they are that they feel that they haven't been terrorized into hovering and protecting their children. But it's not an ideal crazy situation.
So as a 5-year-old that dealt with that, and then spoke to your mom, and then your mom speaks to her sister,
Her older
sister, and Michael
Mm-hmm.
is, that's nasty.
I didn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
The family dynamic now between your mom and sister, the family dynamic now between you and your aunt, and do you have family get-togethers? Do you see him now as an adult? How does that move forward for your family?
So here's the twist. Well, when my aunt just said it didn't happen, flat out denied it, I'm pretty sure this is the oldest sister, and my mom is the youngest.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a close topic. And I don't fault my mother for that. I just know that that's how she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I did forget it. And the unfortunate part about me having forgotten it, and it's something that really pissed me off when I remembered it, is that all these years in between I've been buddy with him, you know, because this and that, which then leaves him more opportunity later to say, see, it didn't happen. It's cool and easy, you know? But, so there really was no family issue that this caused, because I forgot. And, but I refused to go back to DC. I refused. But I refused
Instead of the person, it's the place.
Yes.
Because there's a relationship with him.
Wow.
There's a relationship, and I'm blocking out because how could he do such a bad thing? Maybe that didn't happen. But I know that place doesn't hold any good memories for me. You blocked the place and not the person.
Isn't that something?
You separated him from that.
I did for many years. Yeah, I did not go back.
Like as a child, when something happens, I find like there's times as an adult, we go places and something is a stirring.
Yes.
And we're like, why? I'm uncomfortable. You're in a car as an adult and you'll hear an older song. Why do I feel sad with this song? And we don't know why. And it doesn't necessarily mean something bad happened there,
right?
But it wasn't a good time for you, whatever you were going through. And that city for you is, I'm not getting any good vibes, memories, or I'm just, the stirring up. It's coming up.
Yeah.
It's trying to come up and come out, and it's like, you're like, no, I'm just not going over there.
I'm not going, and did not know why.
Right.
I just know that I never went. I didn't go back for the summers. I would go down South North Carolina to. I would go elsewhere. Yeah. And
so you're bumping Michael, and now you're pissed. You're mad at yourself.
So now I'm 17, and I remember this, and I remember the first time I saw him after I remembered it. Maybe we were in town for a wedding or something. And the first time I walked up, and he's like, "Hey, cuz," he's cigarette standing outside before I could even go inside. "Hey, cuz," and I just froze. I froze. I couldn't move.